got back from an international trip where I was using this backpack right here. This is the Maverick and Co Explorer Light Backpack Plus. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Desmond. I make content about tech and travel gear, and we have got an all-new backpack I've been testing on a number of trips lately. This is the Maverick and Co Explorer Light Backpack Plus, and we are going to run through all of the features, functionality, build, and I'll talk a bit about my experience using this on a big international trip. So first of all, this isn't the first bag that I have reviewed or tested from Maverick & Co. I did a video recently about their briefcase, which is constructed and built almost entirely differently, uses completely different materials, but we are going to be talking about this as an everyday or travel backpack. So let's just talk about the bag itself. Let's talk about the shape and the dimensions. First of all, I'd consider this a pretty classic silhouette in today's terms. A lot of backpacks from different brands, even designer bags, have this more squared off shape. I think this does a good job of maximizing the amount of space that you get. So you notice that we don't really have the rounded kind of top that you would see in a classic like JanSport style. Not that any of you were using those, and there's nothing wrong with it, but this is really maximized for space. Speaking of space, we have about 16.4 total liters of capacity in this bag. Now, if we're looking at the bag from the side, you're also going to notice that the profile is relatively thin, which is great, and I think that's probably why they call this the Explorer Light. It is a very light bag, and that's due to the mix of materials that they use, and of course just the smaller capacity overall. So let's talk about materials. I think the first thing to call out, which is a pro and con, it really depends on what you're looking for. This uses vegan leather as well as an assortment of different kind of like nylon and mesh materials. Now, for some of you out there, vegan leather is great because maybe you don't want a real leather bag. Vegan leather also cuts down on overall weight. But then again, for some of us out there, we prefer real leather. It does add to the overall weight of the bag as well. So I've got full leather backpacks. They are significantly heavier. I've got full leather suitcases and garment bags and things like that. Those are heavier products. Vegan leather just tends to be a lot lighter because, well, it's a synthetic material and it doesn't carry a lot of the extra weight that comes from a high quality leather bag. So aside from the mix of kind of nylon and mesh materials, the interior is made from 100% recycled polyester. And as I mentioned earlier, it's because this mix of lightweight synthetic materials does this bag achieve that lighter overall weight and the namesake Explorer Light backpack. Now, before we jump into all of the pockets, this thing does have a lot of organization, which is great. And I think that's one of the things that I do like about this particular bag is all the organization and design thought that goes into creating a relatively light, small bag that can still hold all of your essentials when you travel or when you go to work. So style-wise, I actually think this looks great. It's very sleek, it's clean. I like the black on black material. They chose the gunmetal zippers and shiny gunmetal hardware. The silhouette looks and works great. Like I mentioned, I took this on a recent trip to London where this was my main travel bag. It was a work bag. It was what I used when I was exploring the city over the weekend. And I have to say, I don't think this looked out of place at all. I think it looked great at the airport. It worked well on the plane. Looks great in the office. I explored the city over the weekend on my own time, and it didn't look like a tourist or a traveler's backpack. And with the 16.5 liter capacity, which I'll show you in more detail, I was able to carry my laptop, my camera, all of my tech essentials, my headphones, everything that I needed to bring onto the plane, and then everything I needed to explore the city of London. The other thing that you're going to notice here, which I really enjoyed, especially as I was putting this down to kind of film or when I was just taking photos of things around me, is If I didn't want to carry the bag on my back and I wanted to place it down for a second, you can see here the bag stands up on its own, and that is a huge value of this kind of squared off silhouette. The bottom is very rigid. When you place it down, even when it's full, it's going to stand up on its own. And because this zips wide open, you're able to access all of your gear. So for me, when I was exploring, I was able to put this down on the steps or on a ledge somewhere, open it up, pull out my camera, or grab any of the essentials that I needed while I was kind of making my way through the city. So now let's kind of go through all the different pockets and what I was using them for as a travel bag. First, we're gonna start up here in these kind of smaller pockets. You've got a pouch in the front, zips open, relatively deep. I mean, this is just where I threw AirPods, little charging cables, a power brick, anything that I needed just quick access to from the top. Things that I'm also not too worried about people kind of zipping open and stealing. Not that I needed to worry too much about it, but I just threw quick essentials up in this top pouch here. And as you can see here, it does make up most of the width of the bag, so you can hold a good amount of stuff. An iPhone, a wallet, anything will fit in this top compartment here. The bag also comes with this great luggage tag, which you can take off if you want to, throw it on a suitcase if you think that's a better vibe. Let's go over to this pocket here. We're gonna start with the front zip, side access. Again, you can see my hand fits in here, which means you could, like I said, throw in anything around the size of an iPhone, a power bank, a hard drive. I wouldn't throw your passport into this. There's a better pocket for that. But you can throw, again, tiny essentials you want very quick access to from the front. And then we're going to talk about this larger compartment. Go ahead and zip that open. And now I'm going to show you this. So this opens significantly wider. This is something where, you know what, you'd probably be able to fit an iPad mini up here, or a book, or again, any number of items. It's not very deep in capacity, but it does give you a good amount of space. As you can see, it's the entire front of this compartment. And no additional organization or storage inside. This is just that 100% recycled polyester lining in the gray. Now I'll go ahead and turn it over to the back. You can see we have the vegan leather and kind of mesh straps. I will say this is definitely an area for improvement. These straps feel very soft and light and a little bit cheap. It's probably just the vegan leather. It's so lightweight. Usually I'm used to leather straps that are relatively thick, they're heavy, and then you pair that with a mesh or some type of foam backing, and those are significantly more comfortable. But this does hold true to the name given to this bag. It is very light and probably subtracts from the overall weight. So we'll go ahead and give you a look at the back. One thing that I really like, luggage pass-through. This is great. I use this on my suitcase, and underneath this luggage pass-through strap is a hidden zipper. So this zipper opens up a separate compartment. This is where I would put my wallet or my passport or any of the essential travel documentation that I want to keep away from pickpocketers or anyone looking to get into my bag. This sits under the strap, so you don't really have easy access or even visibility into the zipper. And then when you've got this on your back, it sits against your back, so it'll be really hard to get access to that. And I don't know if it's a design feature, but the zipper is a slightly more difficult to open, so there is a lot of friction trying to get the zipper open. It doesn't just fly open like some of the other zippers I've used. And with that said, that is it for the compartments on the outside of this bag. There are no water bottle compartments, there are no side compartments or anything like that. Generally speaking, it's pretty minimal, relatively simple in terms of storage. Now, on the back, we're going to start getting into the bigger main compartments. So let's start back here. I've got access to this half compartment. If I zip that open, this is where your laptop, your iPad, kind of large documents would go. Magazines, I don't know, do people read those? Newspapers? Anyways, this compartment is designed for your laptop. This will fit definitely a 16-inch MacBook for sure. I carry a 13 and a 14-inch MacBook with me and an 11-inch iPad Pro. Now we can get over to the main compartment. So the main compartment zips entirely open, almost folds flat, but this is one of the things that I really liked about it. You've got a couple of pockets here for organization, a mesh pocket up here, and just 2 compartments and 2 pen loops on this front end, and then the rest of it is really just open storage. But like I mentioned, as I was exploring the city, having this larger compartment open almost this wide was really nice because I could place this down, open it up, grab my camera, grab any lenses or gear, my laptop, anything that I needed while I was out and on the go, or as I was kind of making my way around the city over the weekend. If I was buying souvenirs or doing any type of shopping or just needed to carry things, I could open this up and throw it in. I still had plenty of room on top of my camera gear that I was bringing with me. And again, as you can see, the interior lining is that 100% recycled polyester. Now, from a performance perspective, having traveled with this, thrown it under the seat of the airplane, brought it around a different city, and just generally used this during that international trip, I thought this thing performed fine. And I'll say that by letting you know the price point. It's $200 on sale, give or take, and then $280 full price. I've reviewed a lot of bags on this channel. A lot of them fall into a much higher price point and produce a lot of the same functionality and features. So I actually think for the price, you are getting almost exactly what you're paying for. We are using relatively budget materials like the vegan leather and the nylon and the recycled polyester, but they keep this bag really light. The functionality, though, is great. You've got plenty of pockets. I think the design makes them feel minimal, high quality, but also gives you a lot of the features you'd want from like a tech bag with lots of organization. The fact that it stands on its own is great, so it still has a really rigid base even though the materials are relatively lightweight. The top handle is great. You've kind of got that combination of the vegan leather with that gunmetal hardware here to give you a nice firm grip on your bag. So I mean, I don't know, it's hard to complain about a bag like this when the price point, in my opinion, is very low compared to other bags in a similar size from different brands. It's just one of those bags on a very large spectrum of quality and price, right? Because you could be paying for a designer backpack that sits in the multi-$1,000 range that doesn't have a lot of functionality, but of course it's made from beautiful leather or canvas or just incredible materials. And then on the other end, you could pick something up from Amazon for, $50 that's made mostly out of nylon and, looks like a JanSport backpack. This fits honestly near the low end of the middle. And I think that's exactly what you're getting. I'm not here to overhype any particular brand. I test so many different backpacks. What I want to be realistic about is this bag sits very honestly in its price range. So I think for people who are looking for a bag that is in the sub 300 price range that also has a higher end design aesthetic, this is probably going to hit the mark for a lot of you. When we're talking about quality and materials and build, I mean, if you want something that's made from real leather, or if you want something that is built to a higher standard, that's gonna come at a cost, and that's true for almost anything. Maverick and Co has no control over what I say about their bags, but I do want to set the expectation that, guys, this is $209 on sale right now, and I know Maverick and Co does sales very regularly, especially as we're rolling into Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the holiday season, and then you've got New Year's, and then you've got back to school. There's always going to be an opportunity to get this at a discount, and when you're looking at the $200 price point, I mean, you're getting exactly what you're paying for. This thing is a great value for that. Now, if you're looking at bags that are $400 or $500 and you're trying to compare this to that, do yourself a favor. Don't. Pay the extra money and get a bag that's going to fit your needs or meet your expectations. And for me to kind of close off this pseudo rant, I think a lot of people have higher expectations of this bag because of how great it looks. I actually think Maverick & Co does a fantastic job of building premium, aesthetically pleasing bags for a lower price point. So they look beautiful, they do align really well with these higher end styles, but I think they're able to keep the bag at a more approachable price point by using more budget-friendly materials. And that's not to say all their bags are. The briefcase I reviewed is a really nice, beautiful leather, and it's a more expensive bag for that reason. In the context of the Explorer Light Backpack Plus, man, for under $300 and for $209 on sale, yeah, I would definitely recommend this to people. If you've only got $210 to spend on a backpack and you want something that you can travel with, go into the office and not look like a tourist, this is a great option. Anyways, if you've made it this far into the video, please hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this. I will catch y'all in the next one.